Hey guys, welcome to my first ever 24-hour readathon. I think. I'm pretty sure I've never done one of these before. Pretty much I just want to try to read as much as possible in the next 24 hours, and I thought I would combine that with my goal of trying to lower my physical TBR. Honestly, some ways get rid of it, but in other ways I like having it. So what I decided to do is hop over onto my Patreon and get my patrons to recommend which books I should be reading. So I took pictures of my shelves and my TBR cart and I put it up, and I'm just gonna go in the order they suggested. If I don't like a book and I want to DNF it, like do not finish, then that book will get put off and I'll go to the next book on the list. So the very first book that was chosen for me, I'm just gonna reveal them as we go here, is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Now, I have not had good success with her YA books. I think I've quit 2 different series by her, but I have enjoyed the first book in her middle grade series. So I feel like this is the book that is going to decide if I try any more V.E. Schwab in the future or not. So Vicious, I think, is kind of like, it gives me Frankenstein vibes when I read the back. It's about 2 college roommates who have some research interest that is similar, that have to do with adrenaline, near-death experiences, and seemingly supernatural events. And then somehow their thesis moves from the academic to the experimental, and things go horribly wrong. So I'm not sure. Her books always sound like an interesting premise, but then they always fall flat for me. I tried her Darker Shade of Magic series. I read the first book and it was just like the characters were so boring. And then I tried Our Savage Song. I couldn't get into that one, so we'll see about this one. I have low expectations because I haven't been very impressed with her stuff so far. So this is going to be my first book, but because I don't really know what's actually going on in my next 24 hours, I know I have to bring my son to a parkour class, and I have like things to do in my house, dishes, etc. I thought I would also pick up an audiobook. So I was scrolling through the suggestions on Patreon. I plan on going through them in order, but the only book that I could get on audio, the next one I could get was Sapphique. So I've taken this one out from the library on audio. This one is book 2 in a series, a duology. I read book 1 about a year ago now, I think, and it's got very steampunk vibes. Incarceron is book 1, and Incarceron is actually the name of a place, and it is a prison, and the subtitle of that one is The Prison is Alive. This one doesn't actually have a subtitle. I thought it did, but it just says sequel to the international sensation Incarceron. So I don't really know where it's going to go from here. Obviously won't give spoilers because it's a book 2 in a series. So whenever I'm doing things where I could be listening to an audiobook, I'm kind of tempted to do a little bit of a puzzle tonight, then I'm going to be picking this up. Now, I am not going to be reading for 24 hours straight. Let's just be honest, I can't stay awake that much, nor do I really care to pay the consequences for that. So I'm going to read as much as I can in my in-between moments, which is very much what I do in my life anyway. I am actually not even sure exactly what time today I'm going to be starting this readathon, because I have a few things to do before I can start. So whenever I start reading, either my ebook or my audiobook or my physical book, I will update, let you know, and then I'll do 24 hours from that time. My son has parkour class today, and I haven't decided if do I go in and socialize, do I stay in my vehicle and read my book, or do I go get gas and listen to my audiobook? Those are like my 3 options, so I'm not sure what's going to be happening here. But whenever I start, these are the books I'm going to be starting with. Okay, it's Crazy Sunday. I decided to go the antisocial route. It is 2:18, and I'm about to start my audiobook while I fill up gas. And then I'm going to sit in the vehicle and read Vicious. Try it out. So let's officially get this started now. Okay, so I listened to the first chapter of Sapphique. And so far, I don't know, I can't tell anything from a first chapter. It has different characters so far than Incarceron, but the other ones might come in. So that makes me a whole 4% into the book. So I don't know where this is going. I will continue this, but for now I'm going to pick up Vicious and read in here for a bit. Hopefully I don't get too cold. My toes are already numb and I have like 45 minutes to sit in here yet. I feel like I maybe should have brought another book along in case I don't like this one. That would have been the smart thing to do. But I have 45 minutes. I'm going to give this 45 minutes to decide. There's lots of vehicles driving by. I'm not sure if that's getting picked up, but I'll decide at the end of 45 minutes if I'm into this book or if I'm going to pass and try another one. Okay, so I'm like chilled to the bone. My toes are numb. I gotta make some supper right away, but I'm planning on like standing on my heating pad or something so my toes can warm up. So after 45 minutes, I got, how far did I get? I think I was on page like 89. And I feel like this is the kind of book I could push myself for, but I'm like not really enjoying myself. It's pretty much all that has happened is these guys, they're pre-med guys, they like science and stuff. They have decided that they're going to see if they could kill themselves and that they die for a little bit and then the other person brings them back to life and then see if they have some like supernatural powers. And I don't know. I just feel like maybe let's pass on this one. It could be good, but I don't know. Not really how I want to spend my time. So I'm gonna grab my phone and see which book was next. I'm pretty sure I know which one it was. Yes, okay. Until Tomorrow, Mr. Marsworth. So that's this one, and it is middle grade. I think it's written in letters between this girl who becomes a paper delivery girl and this man who, there's something to do with the Vietnam War. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, it's happening at this time. And I think he is kind of a bit of a recluse and they write letters back and forth. And the formatting is, looks like this is the girl's letters in that kind of font. And then possibly he has the typewriter font. Is there anything that's not in letters? It also has, what's that, like the deckled edges. So I don't mind them, I don't hate them, but when you're trying to like flip through, it makes it difficult. But it looks like it's completely in letters. So this is going to be my next pick, but I think I need to make some food and warm up my toes first. And then I haven't done any more of Safik. So the one chapter that I listened to while I was getting gas is a total of 22 pages in, like not very far at all. So we'll see how far I get in this. So depending where my evening goes, I might be listening to a book, I might be reading this one. And I guess this means one book crossed off of my TBR shelf.
Oh
Okay, good morning. It is 11 o'clock, 10:57, so I thought I would finally do a little bit of a reading update. The thing with a 24-hour reading vlog is that you want to be reading and it's hard to update. So last night I ended up playing video games with my family. We played some Stardew Valley and a totally reliable delivery service. And then I read for a little bit, but I'm so bad at reading in the evenings now. I just like start falling asleep, which was never the case when I was younger. I could stay awake all night reading. But I read like 60 some pages of Until Tomorrow, Mr. Marsworth, and then I finished it this morning. So, okay, I'm not usually very good at talking about a book right after I've read it, and then this one I read so fast. I really enjoyed it though. It's one of those books that I'm kind of kicking myself for dragging my feet and taking so long to read it. Everyone told me it was great and I didn't believe them. I don't know. It took me forever to read it and now I'm so glad I did, and it's going to be one of the books I recommend. In the next couple of weeks I plan on doing a middle grade recommendations video kind of thing, and I can tell you already this one's going to be on the list. So I need to pick up another book, but first I did end up listening to a little bit more of Safik. Let's see here, how far did I get? We got to the point where the characters from the first story were back in, I'm 8% in. So, let's see, what chapter is this? Oh, chapter 3. So, somewhere in the middle of chapter 3. Not very far. These ones don't have chapters. Not very far, but I think I'm going to DNF it. I'm realizing the first book wasn't like super interesting. I think I gave it 4 stars, but that might have been pushing it. And I don't remember what was happening. I don't know what's going on. I don't really care. I plan on keeping the series because I think maybe my daughter might like this in a few years. She likes fantasy more than I do, and this kind of might be up her alley, but I'm bored. So I'm going to quit this. So that puts me at 2 DNFs, 1 finish, but I still have a few hours. So I'm going to pull up my list from the Patreon discussion where people were giving me ideas on what to read. I don't remember what book was next. So let's see here. Vicious, Until Tomorrow. Oh, Night Books is the next one. I can't see it on my shelf because it's on my cart and it's kind of tucked away here. That's where it is. Night Books. Okay, so this is another middle grade book. And I think it's kind of, it says Alex has loved scary stories his whole life. Now he's trapped in one. So something about a magical apartment. I'm not really sure. I don't like to know too much. But then I also want to pull up an audiobook because I might have a little bit of time to listen to an audiobook. So I have about a little over 3 hours. I could possibly get this done. Oh, this is interesting. I don't want to like read stuff, but there's like writing inside as part of the book, so that's kind of cool. Wonder what else I could pick up as an audiobook. Borrow. Okay, I just got out The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. Oh yeah, it's right here too. So I don't really know anything about this. I just know that I enjoyed The Host by Stephanie Meyer. Still don't think I'm going to go as far as reading Twilight, but I'm curious about this one. So I've got that downloading. I won't get very far because I don't have a whole lot of audiobook time, but I'm going to start this at least and see if I can finish this. That will be pushing it, but we'll see how far I get in these 2 books now. Okay, so I have about an hour, a little bit more than an hour left. I finished Night Books. I I feel very conflicted on this book. It is about a kid who likes writing scary stories and likes reading scary stories, and he gets trapped at the beginning of the book by a witch. And yeah, it has some like good things in it and some not so good things. I'm gonna have to wait to share my like final thoughts at my end of the month wrap up. I feel conflicted. So one of the things he has to do is read scary stories to the witch that traps him. And his stories, some of them remind me so much of like the Goosebumps books that I wasn't allowed to read as a kid, but I definitely borrowed some from friends and read, and like gave me nightmares. Yeah, so I feel like if you liked the Goosebumps books, you might like this book. The book itself wasn't as creepy as like the stories he wrote, but I don't think this is a book that my kids will read because they get creeped out by things, and I don't think they would like this. But I mean, there are some like good lessons about friendship and stuff in here. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for that for now. I have listened to 15 minutes of this this book. I'm that far. So far all I know is that our main character, I don't even know if I have a name. Well, whoever she is, I don't think she has a name yet. She's on the run from some kind of organization she used to work for. I'm assuming she's a chemist, and that's all I know. Which, that has me intrigued. I plan on continuing to listen to this. I'm not gonna DNF it 10 pages in, that much I know. But the next book that my patrons chose for me is Winnie the Pooh. And I mean, this book has 150 pages, but it has lots of pictures. So I'm thinking, why don't I try to read this in the last hour-ish of my time? So I think I'm gonna go have a seat and read this. See if I can get this done in the next hour. Okay, 2:17, done listening to my book, and that is 24 hours. So I am still not very far into The Chemist. I'm trying to see here. Like 30 pages. So far, I don't really know anything more. This woman is on the run from her previous employers. The opening scenes, or just like the idea of her on the run, constantly changing outfits, reminds me a lot of the If I Run series by Terry Blackstock, so that has good things going for it, but that far in, it's a little bit early to say anything yet. That's a very, very small percentage. Apparently that equals 5% into the book, so I don't really know much, but I'm liking the beginning. And then I did finish Winnie the Pooh. This one, I mean, was a very short read, which I expected. Lots of pictures. It is very similar to the original Winnie the Pooh cartoons. I've heard people rave about the Winnie the Pooh books a lot before, and I feel like I'm gonna get a little bit of pushback on this one, but I didn't think it was amazing. Like, I feel like the cartoons did a really good job. So I feel like this is a little better than the cartoon, but I was expecting it to be like exponentially better. But that says good things for those who made the cartoon. They did a good job. And yeah, so I'm glad to have finally read the original Winnie the Pooh. So that means I finished 3 like middle grade books. This is kind of a little bit younger than middle grade, but I finished Winnie the Pooh. I finished Night Books. I finished Until Tomorrow, Mr. Marsworth. Those are done. And then I DNF'd Safik and Vicious. And then have just barely started The Chemist. So, I mean, I got these 5 books knocked out of my TBR shelf, either because I don't want to read them or because I did read them. And then I'm working on this one. So this, I feel like, was a very successful reading vlog because I now have 2, 4, 5 and a bit books off of my shelf. This one will hopefully not take me too long to listen to, depending how much time I have to listen to stuff. I like to listen when I'm like folding laundry or making supper or doing puzzles, and I didn't even do any puzzles because we played video games instead last night, so maybe I'll do some of that tonight. We'll see. Overall, I think that was a really fun 24-hour reading vlog. I've never actually done this before, and while I feel bad kind of like putting some things off in my life, like I feel bad doing so much reading in one day. It was one day. So if I could do this like once a month, I could knock out quite a few books off of my TBR. So I might try this as a regular thing. So I guess that is the official end to my 24-hour reading vlog. If you've ever done one of these before, I would love to hear what your experience was. If I do one again in the future, is there like a certain theme you want to see? Let me know. And thanks for watching, guys.